right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the September general meeting for Solidarity Lowell. And if you did not hear the mechanical person, this meeting is being recorded. There we go. Guidelines for our virtual meetings. By staying in the meeting, you are agreeing to be recorded. Raise your hand or type an asterisk into the chat if you wish to speak. The stacker for this meeting, that's D, will pay attention and unmute you in turn. Timekeeper is Win Flint. Please be mindful of time limits. Use the stop video if you need to take a break from sharing your screen, and then start the video when you're ready to return. Step up, step back. If you've been speaking a lot, step back. If you have not spoken a lot, step up. And additionally, please speak slowly. That will help with accessibility. And let's see. Oops, wrong direction. There. Ah. Oh, hold on. I apologize. Let's try this again. Present. Okay. So this is our agenda. 5:30-ish will be brief attendance introductions. 5:45 will be Solidarity Lowell intros, news, and committee updates. 6 will be allied organization updates. 6:15, we will be going over the election endorsements, and 6:55, we will wrap up and go over when our next meeting will be. Let's see. Oop. What is, I apologize, everybody. I don't think technology is working well today.
Carolyn, sometimes it takes a second for the slides to progress. So if you hit it, just wait.
Okay, I'm gonna try that. Yeah, and normally there's a little bar, but it's not giving me the bar tonight. Okay. So the social distance quarter hour. Introduce yourself, your name, your pronouns, where you live, and what is your favorite thing about autumn? So I am Caroline Snow. I use she, her for my pronouns. I live in Centerville, which I just found out is a different district than the rest of Centerville, but that's good. And then what is your favorite thing about autumn? My nephew's birthday. So let me mute myself. And Amy, are you ready to go next?
Sure. Amy Baranowski, she, her, hers. I live in the 4th district. I love just about everything about autumn, but if I have to pick one, even though Ryan isn't here, I will still say my Halloween wedding anniversary.
Paul, are you ready?
Sure. Paul Godet from Highland section of Lowell, and also representing Merrimack Valley Project. Pronouns he, his, him. My favorite, it's like a memory of autumn, is caramel apples. We don't eat them anymore, but they were wonderful as a kid.
Marissa?
Hi, everyone. Marissa DuPont. I live in Pawtucketville, AKA District 1. We're number 1. Not really, but my favorite thing about autumn is the tie between my birthday and Halloween.
Dee, are you ready?
Hi, Dee Halzak, she, her. I live in the Acre. My favorite thing about the autumn is the crisp, sunny days that do happen. I know it rains sometimes, but I like it when it's sunny and cool.
Chris?
Okay, Chris Offerman, she, her, hers. I live in downtown, which is District 4. Favorite thing about autumn, hard to come by because I really like summer. But since I'm in New England, I'll definitely say the New England foliage.
Thank you. Joe?
Hi, I'm Joe Boyle. I live in the Highlands, and pronouns he, him. And I'd say my favorite thing about autumn is the landscapes. of the foliage, especially on hikes and when there's lookouts and stuff, or driving on the highways, or just the landscapes I already know, like downtown and Lucy Larkham Park, and how it changes. That's my favorite thing about autumn.
Hi. Stephen?
Steve Malagodi, he, him, I live downtown. My favorite thing about autumn is that it's not the holiday season.
Nice. All right. Let's see. Linda. Linda, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, wonderful.
Hey,
Did you hear the slide?
Yes, I can
Great.
see it. My name is Linda Cantor. My pronouns are she, her. I live in downtown Lowell, and my favorite thing about autumn is seeing the spectacular array of brilliant leaves, because it's something that I missed when I lived in Florida.
Thank you. All right, now let's see. Amy, can you help me figure out who, if I missed anybody?
Did John go?
Did you get John?
Thank
John
you.
did not go.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, John.
It's all right. John Grossman, he, him, Pawtuckaville. And my favorite thing about autumn is the fresh, locally grown apples.
Mm.
Nice. Thank you, everyone. Now, let's see. Nope. Gonna try. Oh. Oh, goodness. Hold on. My computer is a little ahead of the game.
I'm sorry, did we get Paul?
Yep.
Oh, okay. We didn't skip Paul.
Thank you, Joe.
My bad.
Caramel apples, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Amy, are you able to share your to do the slides?
I'm taking notes, so I
Oh,
can't
no.
really do both.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, because my computer for some reason is on like a hamster wheel.
Yeah, it's okay. Give me a second. Amy sent me the link earlier today. I just have to find it. And I think it's set to everyone can share screen.
Oh, much better. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
So what is Solidarity Lowell? Solidarity Lowell is a volunteer-based group of community members of Greater Lowell working towards social justice by defending the human rights, dignities, and equality of all persons against hate and discrimination. We welcome new members. The Solidarity Lowell Coordinating Committee is your elected team of volunteers running the meetings, organizing events, disseminating relevant news, and sharing calls to action. Progressive Mass. Solidarity Lowell is a chapter of Progressive Mass. Progressive Mass is a statewide, member-driven grassroots organization committed to fighting for a vision of shared prosperity, racial and social justice, good government, and environmental sustainability in Massachusetts. And they have many committees, and if you are interested in joining them, I suggest going to their new fancy website, which will help you detail all of those committees. Celebrate victories. First, 2 transgender women of color to teach law at Harvard joined the faculty in August. Very excited about that. Captain Amy Bauner-Schmidt, I apologize for the pronunciation, United States Navy became the first woman to take command of a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier on August 19th. She also became the first woman to serve as executive officer on a nuclear-powered carrier in 2016. Woo! President Biden's proclamation for Women's Equality Day specifically lifts up the contributions of women in color to the suffragette movement. Woo woo! I'll come up with different sound effects. And the DOJ commits to process preventing grant awards to police departments that discriminate. That one, I very much appreciate that one. Does anybody else have any victories that they would like to share? Okay, I don't see any hands, so we'll go to the next one. So the Tom Golden meeting debrief will be Marissa.
Yeah, so a few of us from Tom Golden's district, as well as Chris Offerman, who is not from Tom Golden's district, met with him a week ago Thursday. And it went about as well as can be expected. We knew going into it that Tom would be a little slippery, and you know, just from our experience meeting with him with 350 Mass of Greater Lowell, generally with him, and this was the case in this instance, he tends to say, oh, but how are we going to pay for that? And that's what he did for nearly all of the things. Thankfully, though, he did seem positive about the Work and Family Mobility Act, so we're very excited about that. So it looks like that will hopefully be going up for a vote, hopefully this year. He also was positive about one of Rick Golden's, hold on, I'll have to, but I'm sharing my screen. Let me just stop my share for 1 second and I will, because I want to look at the notes. So I'm not just
It
doing
was a
this.
bill about promoting hiring clinicians to do things that cops usually do.
Yeah, I want to get the name of
I
it.
don't know what number it was, but he was surprisingly supportive of that. Talked
Yes.
about how Lowell is already doing it, which may mean that he's not as supportive of the extent that the bill was go, but
Alternative
concept is
crisis
good.
response. Alternative crisis response is the name of it. Yeah, but it but those were the two that he was open to. The rest of them he had a lot of concerns about in terms of you know, how to pay for it, or you know, there were other ones where he'd be like, oh, we're already doing that, you know. So but for the most part, I mean, the meeting went well. We're happy to do it. It was a good first step in terms of, you know, this is the first time we've met with him as Solidarity Lowell. He said he looks forward to meeting with us in the future, so that's good. And yeah, so we can check that off our list, and you know, if there are other important bills that we need to talk to him about in the future, we'll do that. But otherwise, we can meet with him again in a couple of years. Let me get my screen back. There we go. And present.
All right, for the election subcommittee, we will go to D.
Most of what we're working on is right now is what's happening in the meeting today, because we're going to vote on the rest of the endorsements if possible. And we already endorsed Corey Robinson for District 2 and Wayne Jennis for District 4. So and we encourage folks to join their campaigns when you can to help get progressives elected. That's about all I have to say. So, yeah.
Thank you. Oh, and this will be Marissa.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, can you step back to the previous one? Because I think we missed something.
Yep, hold on.
There, the candidate form.
Oh,
Yes.
well, our endorsed candidates will be appearing in a forum on Saturday, October 16th. And I don't know anything else about that forum yet, so.
There's a forum tomorrow as well.
Yeah, tomorrow is DEIs, right?
I think there's also one from Lowell Votes. DEI's Monday forums focus on 2 candidates. And tomorrow is Paul Rothayem is one of them, and I don't remember who the other one is.
Tomorrow's one, I'm looking at email now. It's
Jack. Go ahead. Jack.
Wayne Janess from 7:30 to 8 is the city council candidate, and Hillary Clark from 7 to 7:30 school committee.
Oh, okay.
And then there's another forum that the LTC and the Lowell Votes and Lowell Sun and Kamai Post is also tomorrow, conveniently. The at-large council from 6 to 7:30 and districts 1 and 8 from 7:30 to 9.
Okay.
Then there's another one, then they have one Thursday, Friday, and I'll put in the chat.
Thank you. Yep. And I see Steve's hand.
Oh, never mind. It's okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so for the Merrimack Valley Interfaith Sanctuary Network, so let me talk about Marius first because it's exciting news. He got his work permit.
Yeah.
I know it says that he doesn't have it yet in the slide, but that's totally my bad. I just didn't have time to edit the slides earlier. But yes, he finally got his work permit. Unfortunately, he still has to he's been driving on an international driver's license, so he's not like illegal, but he needs to get his official Massachusetts driver's license. So he's working on that right now. And I think he has an appointment for that in November. And then he's hoping to get a job doing like delivery driving or something like that. So that's where he's at right now. And he has an apartment. I think I mentioned that last time. But if I didn't, he has an apartment now in Lowell. So that's great. And so that sort of leads me into the second thing, which is the fundraiser for the Ecuadorian asylum seeker. Her name is Lillian, and Akinabi Marius actually met her when he was at the detention center in Arizona. Just spacing on the name of it. And he met her when he was there, and she decided to move here, and I think is staying with Marius. So she is in need of help with asylum and with lawyers' fees and the same sorts of things that Marius needed when he first started. So we're doing a fundraiser for her on Sunday, October 17th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. The RSVP link is in front of you, or you can go to the most recent rapid response. Actually, not the most recent one, because that was the corrected link. But the most recent long rapid response email, and it'll be in next week's as well, to RSVP. We'd love to see you there. And she will be talking about her experience coming from Ecuador through Mexico, her experiences with racism and misogyny, especially towards women of African descent. Yeah, so it should be a very interesting conversation, and hope to see you all there. That's it.
All right. So very quickly, I will go over this one for Lowell Votes. This was put on as an allied organization. So if you are interested, you can sign up for a shift for voter registration. And there's also phone and canvassing. And just as a bump, September 28th is National Voter Registration Day. If you are interested in this further, please go to the Lowell Votes website, and we'll put that information in the notes as well. All right, is there any allied group updates or announcements?
Caroline, you're on mute.
Thank you. John?
Yeah. 350 mass effort to have Lowell purchase a significant amount of renewable energy as part of our collective energy supply is continuing. The contract we have now that does that is expiring, and there'll be a motion to renew it to maintain the additional renewable energy that Lowell purchases at Tuesday's city council meeting. And we would urge anybody who could come and show support to do that. You don't have to speak, but it'd be great for you to be there. The reason why this year prices are up, market goes up and down. Unfortunately, it's up right now. And to continue the same amount of renewable energy that we've been buying, which is an additional, the state mandates a certain amount, it's 18% right now, and Lowell's committed to 45% additional above the state. And in order to continue that, it's going to cost to the average ratepayer $85 a year more than if we didn't continue it, which comes to about $7 a month, as you could figure out for yourself. And we feel it's worth it. And we also have some ideas about how to provide more, how to make it easier on low-income families. Namely, Lowell should engage in an aggressive effort to help low-income families use energy efficiency programs that presently exist that a lot of people don't use because it's not easy to access them. And we have proposals that probably won't be voted on Tuesday, but we are going to pursue going forward to get Lowell to maybe add a position to work with the energy manager to help folks access programs available for low-income people now in terms of reducing their electric bills and also energy efficiency, because everybody's going to have to do it sooner or later if we're going to address the climate crisis, and we need to make it as easy as possible for low-income people to do it, and that will save them a lot more than the $85 a year hit that we're going to get in order to buy renewable energy. So if you're down for that, please, we could use your support Tuesday's city council.
All right, thank you. Steve?
Yeah, just following up on what John said, there may or may not be an amendment offered on Tuesday to lower the amount from the existing 45%. And we really need to not have that amendment either offered or passed. So it would be really good if we had a lot of supporters in the room. So if you can at all be there on Tuesday for that vote to show your support for holding the line at 45% above the state mandate, which it is now. We want to hold the line, not go backwards. If you can at all be at the commission meeting the council meeting on Tuesday, that would be great. There is some other federal news in that Nancy Pelosi says that they will probably have a vote on the infrastructure bill on Monday, and that the reconciliation bill will, according to Pelosi's statement today, clearly have to go down from its existing proposed $3.5 trillion. So that was already a cut. So Pelosi's already saying that the reconciliation bill will be less. So not a lot to cheer about, at least from my perspective, happening on the federal level. So that means, what we do on the state and local level is really critically important. So if you can make it Tuesday, that'd be great.
Great, thank you. Anybody else? I don't see any other hands. All right, moving on.
Caroline, Paul has his hand up.
Paul, thank you, Marissa. Paul, you're muted.
Thank you, Caroline. I have good news to share. Our MICA dinner is November 6th, 6 p.m. on Zoom because of the ongoing pandemic. And one of our own here at Solidarity has been awarded the award and has accepted. Marissa DuPont will be receiving the MICA Award for her work with the Interfaith Sanctuary Network, of course, and Solidarity Lowell. So in some ways, the award is also to the organization, but Marissa stands out in her work with asylees. So we're so glad that she's accepted. And again, November 6th at 6 p.m., there'll be more details on Merrimack Valley Project's website of how to get the Zoom link for your contribution of $30 a ticket. And I would suggest that, again, as last year, that Solidarity Lowell generously took out an ad, but this is an opportunity to make the ad partly congratulations to Marissa in the ad itself, along with the Solidarity Lowell logo. So I'll be in touch with the executive committee about how to go about that. Congratulations, Marissa, and thank you.
Yay.
Thanks,
That's wonderful.
everyone. It's such an honor. I'm so flattered.
Joe?
Well deserved.
Yeah, I have a couple of things. First of all, about the CBA, the Coalition for a Better Acre. We got our zoning permit for the project at the Lowell House site. It's on Merrimack Street in the Acre Canal side, and that project with reduced parking it sailed through, and they were pleased to hear about proposals for reducing surface parking, which has been a pattern that the planning board and zoning board have been demonstrating lately, and it's a very positive thing. The other thing I just I thought we should recognize the positive that the City of Lowell once again held free and fair elections.
Thank you, everybody. All right. All right. So now we are to the second of our election endorsements. So as you mentioned, we already had endorsed two people for two different races. Today we are doing the city council. We are doing 4 districts at large, districts 5, 6, and 8. We did not have any responses from District 1 candidates. And then we will move on to school committee. And again, we will be doing at large in districts 1, 2, and 3. And we did not receive any responses from District 4. So, and just for clarity, for each individual district, so there'll be 8 votes. For each one of those, you will vote for a candidate or no endorsement, and that will be on a form that will be sent tonight or tomorrow morning, with all of the responses that we had sent previously. That will be sent again if you want to review those. So looking back from our last month's meeting, the coordinating committee realized that it's easier if we discuss the results versus going over all of the results individually. So what we did is we sent it out. We asked people to review them and come to the meeting with any questions, comments, concerns to bring forth. And so we will give you a moment to kind of come up with your notes for that.
Caroline, do you know when that was sent out, on what date, so I can locate it?
Off the top of my head, it was, as far as I know, it was Thursday. What number that is eludes me.
Thank you.
Thursday was the 23rd.
Paul,
It's also in, Marissa sent out that updated link because the original one had the wrong meeting link. So Marissa just sent it out again. So if you pop open your email,
Oh,
it should be right
perfect.
up
Thank
top.
you. Thank you. right, Marissa, would you be able to go to the next slide? Thank you. All right, so this is also a way to do it, and we can put this link in the chat as well.
Just did.
Thank you. All right, and for clarity, the survey results and the voting will be sent, or excuse me, the ballot will be sent to voting members, those that have attended 3+ meetings in the last 12 months. I think we're ready for the next one. All right, so for City Council at Large District, we received responses from Best and Noon. These are his top 3 priorities. So this is the last question of all the survey questions. And this was the one that we wanted to highlight because it's one that gives a longer explanation, and it is on both the City Council and the school committee. So it is one of those questions that is for both of those. So I will give everybody a moment to read. All right, I think we're ready for the next one. All right, again, no responses from District 1, that is for clarity. Let's see, so District 5. So we received a response from Tooch Van. These are his top priorities. Give everybody a little bit to read these.
Smart move in answering questionnaire. They ask for 3 priorities, give them 4 anyway.
Right, any other thoughts? Okay, I don't see any hands, so we'll go to the next one. So this is for District 6. So this is Justin Savong Ford, pardon the pronunciation. His top 3 priorities. All right. So Justin's priorities are making Lowell run off of 100% green renewable energy, increase affordable renting, so families can build equity and a foundation for the next generation, fix a relationship with City Council, the citizens, and the police department, so that citizens can build trust in law enforcement and feel safe and respected at the same time. Does anybody have any comments for or concerns for Justin before we move on? All right, I don't see any. All right, we'll go next. All right. So City Council District 8, Eric Gitzshire, again, pardon the pronunciation. Top 3 priorities: public safety, schools, and better government service for all residents within the city.
It's Gitchier.
Thank you. All right. So again, just as a recap, thank you, Amy, for making these great slides. City Council voting options: at large, Vesna Noon or no endorsement. District 5, Tooch Van or no endorsement. District 6, Justin Savong Ford or no endorsement. District 8, Eric Geister or no endorsement. All right.
Who else? is
Caroline?
against-
I have a question.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Did we not get replies from the competing candidates?
We did not. These are the people that gave us responses.
So just one for
No.
each district in this case?
Correct. Everything that we received is presented.
Wow, okay.
Who's running against Justin Ford?
Sakari.
Sakari Chow. Okay.
John?
Yeah, so our policy is we don't endorse candidates who did not respond to our questionnaire. Is that right?
It was presented to them as if they wanted an endorsement from us, they needed to submit the survey. So the assumption is if we didn't hear from them, especially since we followed up with them, that they did not want to pursue an endorsement. Also, if you're interested in what the other candidates had to say, if they were on the DEI consortium's candidate spotlights, those are available as recordings on their YouTube channel. So you can check those out.
I'll just follow up real quick and I'll stop, but if we believe that the failure to respond means they actively don't want our endorsement, I think that's a problem for us. Because there are candidates running that are fairly close to our beliefs. And if they don't want our endorsement, we at some point in some setting, not now, we need to figure out what that means. If they didn't get around to our questionnaire, that's another matter.
Yeah. John, the Solidarity Lowell Coordinating Committee hears that. There are many pieces to that puzzle that we are working on currently. That is something that's in our minds.
Thank you.
Steve has his hand up.
So just to be clear, the at-large candidates, Vesna was the only at-large candidate to reply?
That is correct.
Chris has her hand up.
Okay.
Yeah, just for clarification on those same things, some of us did specifically individually follow up with candidates who they know well. I'm not going to go into details here who said what to whom, but just as a general question, every effort was made to reach out to candidates. We had conversations with those candidates that opted not to send in the survey. We have some feeling as to why in this particular instance they didn't. And this is something that we're discussing in the coordinating committee. So I don't believe it's something that should be thrown out here in the wider audience. If anybody specifically wants to know, they can contact me. We can do it in a one-on-one.
Thank you. All right, school committee would be next. All right, so for the at-large district, this Jackie Doherty, her top 3 priorities are to continue to hold the school administration to high expectations of effective and collaborative leadership as we face vital issues impacting our students. Continue to hold accountable the city and school administration to prioritize and do the facility upgrades that have too long been left undone, as well as develop ongoing maintenance plans. Continue to request supports around students' socio-emotional mental health, inclusive curriculum, meaningful professional development for staff, as well as responsive supports for families, especially those marginalized or struggling. All right. Let's see. All right. Seeing no hands, but school district committee District 1, We had 2 for this one. So Ben Opara, his top 3 priorities, building maintenance, health and safety, professional development. Stacy Thompson, her top 3 priorities were what she calls her 3 E's, which are described on her website, and they stand for equity, empowerment, and educational excellence.
Marissa.
So I live in District 1, and I've been trying to find the difference between these two for a really long time, and there's no major difference, and they both answered all the questions really well. I think I'm really struggling, honestly, because they're both fantastic, and I don't want to, I mean, I feel like it would be bad to not endorse. Ben Opara has a little bit more of a history with us, so I think, you know, based on that, like, you know, it seems like he really cares about us and he's been seeking this endorsement for a while. Not that that's the only reason he's been coming to meetings, because he's been coming to meetings for years now. But they're both great. And I was really hoping this was going to clear it up on who I'm going to vote for. And I don't know. So help me out, folks.
Joe, I see your hand.
Yep. I'm in very much the same position as Marissa. This is the Pawtucketville Upper Highlands District, and our choices are these 2 great Black progressives. We're gonna elect a Black progressive to the school committee. So I'm having a lot of trouble with this decision too. I voted for Ben Opara, I think at least twice already in my life. I think in this time, I'm going to go with Stacy Thompson for my personal vote. You know, I've heard the 2 of them speak, and I'm not even going to really try to sell you guys on her. But I'm leaning towards Stacy Thompson. I still don't know if we should endorse one over the other, even if I have my mind made up. I'm not sure I have it made up enough to that Solidarity should endorse one over the other. You know, this one is hard, and right now I'm leaning towards voting no endorsement. I don't know if there's anybody else who lives in our district, but this question of doing a no endorsement, is that a problem? Is that a message? Is that a bad message to send? Is it a good message to send? Should we, if we do a no endorsement, should we do some kind of a statement about this particular case?
I would say yes, because we're making no endorsement, not because we don't like either one, but because we literally cannot choose between them because they're both so good.
Mm.
But that's not only up to those of us who are here. I mean, let's see where the votes fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't see a strong reason to alienate anybody by not endorsing them, if we like both candidates. I'm in the district. I mean, I think Ben Opara is probably going to win because he's a lot better known, as far as I can tell anyway. But so in some ways that might be the safe thing to do if we see them as being the same. But I'm not sure that it makes sense to endorse just for the sake of it. There's nobody else running in that district. But it would be good to distinguish the no endorsement on school committee if we go that route from the no endorsement on district city council. Because in the same, in District 1, which I assume we're not going to endorse because we don't like either of them. So if we did go for a no endorsement, an explanation might be useful, is my point.
I suggest that perhaps, you know, there's the option of no endorsement, but could they both receive the endorsement? Could both of them be endorsed? It comes out to the same thing, but I think it carries a different message.
Joe?
One difference that it could carry is that both candidates could be invited to participate in our in the forum and the other benefits of an endorsement, rather than neither of them.
Yeah, that's true. Kirsten, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I guess I'm still new. This is my third meeting now. So I'm still new to this. But I was curious if we should only take into consideration their answers to the questionnaire, or if we should also take into consideration experience. You know, like who would be the best school committee member based upon their experience that they bring to the role.
Joe?
Yeah. First of all, you are allowed as you're making your decision about your endorsement to prioritize whatever you want in addition to the progressive philosophy and their answers here. That said, yeah, that is a question, and for that everyone has to figure out. And I think, and I think that the value that this group serves is as a progressive voice in the community. I think it behooves us to focus on progressive candidates and the progressivity of candidates. In a race in which there were two very non-ideological candidates who were, you know, say their politics were fairly conservative, but that didn't really have much to do with their local campaigns. And those were the two who were running for a seat, and they both sent in Solidarity Lowell endorsements. Would I feel like we had to pick which one of them would be better based on experience and stuff? Me personally, in that situation, I'd probably take a pass on and vote for a no endorsement on that one, even if I had a preference based on like you brought up, experience, background, expertise, or whatever that would affect my vote. I don't personally, in making my decision about these endorsements, I don't think I would I don't think I would vote to endorse one of them, because, you know, I would vote for Solidarity Lowell to endorse one of them, because I don't think that's really where Solidarity comes into local politics. That again is my personal opinion.
Hey. Thank
Anyone
you.
else would like to give some guidance about how their thought process and how they make decisions on these things? We all need to figure out how we're going to think about this.
Mm-hmm.
I think having too many progressive candidates is a good problem to have. And so that's why I would argue that looking into experience would be a good idea. Because one of these people has education experience.
Yep.
And is a subject matter expert. And one of them is not. So that would be my thinking, and that's why I raised the question. And I have to go grab a battery now, so hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Great. Thank you for the great discussion. All right. School Committee District 2, we also have two candidates. Oh, sorry, Amy.
Sorry. Well, I mean, I was curious who she thought. I mean, she's being vague and not mentioning any names, right? But it's just us, and she can share the names, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I would like to hear her finish where she was going with that.
Stacy Thompson was a teacher for a number of years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I would assume that's what she meant, but
Yeah.
My impression was that Ben Opara has some, I mean, even if he hasn't been a teacher though, like he has some experience with like a committee or something, you know, where he's been working adjacent to the schools, hasn't he? Or am I just imagining that?
I'm not sure. I know Stacy One of the good other resources to use is the picnic that Lowell Votes put on with the CBA, and they recorded all of the candidates who chose to speak. So that is also another place to go. And I know that I did hear Stacy speak, but I did not hear Ben speak. So I don't want to compare because I wasn't there for both. But I do know that Stacy did mention that she does have experience directly in the schools. So I know that that's also another place to look, you know, and I would also, you know, my understanding is one of them has like some sort of a formal degree in education, which again, that's your choice as to if that sways you in one direction or the other.
Is the decision simply made by the vote? Or is there some discussion that the coordinating committee has after getting the vote?
Nope, each member, each voting member that is eligible to vote votes as their choice. And then the coordinating committee presents that information. There is no finagling on our end.
Yeah, it's the vote.
And is no endorsement an option?
Yes.
Okay.
But double endorsement is not.
Uh-huh.
And then the question is, what's the threshold of our votes? That is it a plurality?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I mean,
Yep.
this is a situation where some discussion is probably in order, I would think.
Yeah. Steve, I see your hand.
Is Solidarity Lowell committed to this vote this evening?
This is the discussion. So we are not voting at this particular meeting.
Ah.
We will be sending the form after the meeting. So this is the discussion portion.
I see, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So for School District 2, we also had 2 respondents, Hillary Clark. Her top priorities are equity, family engagement, and CLSP, which I apologize, I am not clear on what that is. And then Eileen Del Rossi, her top 3 priorities are educational goals and policies, professional development, focus on consistency, and school assignment policy. Marissa?
Do we really need to discuss this? Eileen's terrible. I mean, if you read her survey results, seriously, Hillary's amazing. She's been an ally of ours for a while. We endorsed her last time. Eileen, her questions were awful. She basically wants to, I don't know, she's awful.
Joe?
CLSP is culturally and linguistically sustaining practices.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say that.
yeah, I strongly support Hillary Clark. She's clearly the better candidate.
Thank you for that clarification. That makes me very happy that that's what those letters stand for.
There's a controversy in the school committee about whether or not to fund a position that would deal with that. And if it helps, Mike Dillon is against it.
Well, if Mike Dillon's against it.
That helps. That helps me.
All right. School Committee District 3, Susie Chun. Her top 3 priorities are engagement with families. So families want to be involved in their child's education, but economic, cultural, and language-based challenges can prevent that. Meaningful outreach and supports to parents are a priority for her, including translation for our limited English-speaking parents, childcare during meetings, or culturally and linguistically responsive resources that can engage families in a meaningful way. Quality education for all. Susie believes every child in Lowell deserves the best possible education. Crowded classrooms and overworked teachers make this difficult. Reducing class size and student-teacher ratios can open up more opportunities throughout the day for individualized instruction and reflection. Safe schools. In order to learn, every child needs to feel safe and respected for who they are. Susie will make it a priority to ensure schools are safe for everyone through student-centered anti-bullying and social emotional health programs. I don't see any hands. All right. And school district 4, we had no responses.
I just want to put in a word about Susie.
Okay.
Susie has lived her life and walked the walk with herself, her education and her children's education and her career in terms of culturally and linguistically supportive practices. Back before it was a thing. It was a thing to her and her family. And not getting them was a thing to her and her family. And she represents a real bottom up approach to that, you know, right from the kindergarten classroom, right from the parents of kids who didn't get that as well as much as they should have.
Marissa.
I think Susie's a no-brainer. I mean, she's been a part of the group for a really long time. We know she's, you know, politically aligned with where we are for the most part, and she's got some great campaign goals, and and the other woman that's running in that district is not good.
Well, it's Andre Descateau, who is an incumbent, but yeah.
Oh, right. Sorry, I was confusing who it was, but yeah, and Andy is not great.
Stephen.
I just have some like procedural questions. So not having to do with any with this district, with this particular district. So maybe if people want to finish this part of the discussion, I just have some procedural questions.
There were no replies from the 4th district.
No.
Nope.
Can somebody refresh my memory? Who's running in that one?
Chef Kim and Dominic Lay.
Okay. Thank you.
And it may not be true in the rest of the election, but two of the school committee districts are going to be people of color, because they're only people of color candidates, which is probably the first time in Lowell's history.
Right, Martha, could you go to the summary slide for this, and then we'll go back to Stephen's procedurals. So summary, school committee voting options. At large, Jackie Doherty or no endorsement. District 1, we went over. Again, that's Ben O'Para, Stacey Thompson or no endorsement. District 2, Hillary Clark, Eileen Del Rossi or no endorsement. And District 3 is Susie Troon or no endorsement. All right, so I think we're ready for procedural questions.
So just looking at the slide here, is voting members who've attended 3 or more meetings in the last 12 months will receive a ballot. I assume that's a lot more people than are at this meeting tonight. So those people will get a ballot with only the name, with only names of people who have responded, right? And most people receiving that ballot will not have been, will not have heard the discussion going on here tonight. So it seems like a little odd to me. The other thing I just wanted to say is that in the districts, for each district, since there's only one person, you only get to elect one person per district. It makes sense to either have. It kind of makes sense to do it the way you're doing it, but in the at-large, in the at-large election where there are 6 candidates and people get to vote for 3, we only have 1 respondent. That seems a bit problematic to me. So, I mean, I know the committee is discussing this, but I don't I don't see how you get it like a fair representation or a fair vote back from the voting members the way it is now, especially if people haven't been in on this discussion. So,
Chris?
Chris?
Yes, yes, Steve, I hear you, and I'm only answering this because I've had conversations with the 2 city council at large members that go into more detail, like I said before, and I can send you what I find out. I'll send it to you in a direct message.
it's not about me. It's about like what people will receive in the email. I mean,
Right, and we should probably add an explanation that all candidates were sent our questionnaires with repeated reminders that if they wanted to pursue an endorsement from Solidarity Lowell, please fill out this questionnaire. So after many repeated attempts of reaching more than one candidate and have them do this, we kind of have to take the not filling it out candidates as to mean they are not interested in our endorsement. We should probably add a much shorter explanation than what I just said, something to that effect in when we send out the ballot. So that's a good point. So other people understand how this peculiar situation came about.
Marissa?
I'm wondering if there's something we could do that's just short of an endorsement so that people know who we recommend. Maybe just from the coordinating committee. So that way it's not about the membership, but just say, we also recommend voting for example, John Drinkwater and Bobby Tigbieli, so we might want to do something like that because obviously, yeah, we're going to probably endorse Vesna. I mean, for obvious reasons. And we're obviously not going to endorse Rita, for instance. So I think it would sort of make sense in this circumstance for people who are not familiar with Lowell politics to at least understand that we acknowledge these people, though certain people did not seek our endorsement. We want to make sure that they're still recommended in some way. I don't know if this was all, and the other thing is that this was all very unexpected. I mean, we've gotten responses from those people in the past and from most of the candidates, where this year it was new to us that we did not get responses from everybody.
Steve?
well, I mean, it seems like, I don't want to like insert myself into this process too much or more than I already have. It seems like the difficulty is arising from your assumption that if they didn't respond, then they don't want the endorsement. So, I mean, it seems like that's where the difficulty is coming in.
No.
I think it's pretty clear. I mean, if
It's not an assumption.
if people reached out and spoke to these candidates and they chose not to respond,
Or they said in
I
so
think they
many
may
words.
feel they don't want to get tagged with being like us. And that's why I said it's kind of a problem for us. We have to decide down the road
Right.
what that means, what kind of role we want to play in politics, et cetera. And we don't have to be an endorsing group. It may not be the most useful function for us to fulfill, but that's the impression I'm getting, is that that's what they wanted. So
Right.
do you endorse someone who doesn't want your endorsement?
That's why I would lean away from even recommending them, because those 2 candidates pretty much expressed their desire not to be endorsed by Solidarity Lowell, very specifically. So if they said they this time around would rather not be aligned with us, then we shouldn't give them a recommendation either. It would be against their express wishes. But the question, should we even be doing endorsements at all? That's a separate question that I think has merit. We should definitely think about, talk about between now and the next election.
Marissa?
Just quickly to address that, I mean, I think this was something that the coordinating committee voted to do years ago at the time, because we felt like it would help with certain candidates to identify who's progressive. And now, especially with the dissolution, whatever that word is, of Lowell progressive Dems in Lowell, it would leave a vacuum without having a progressive group endorsing. So that would be why I would encourage us to continue endorsing. But I do agree this was unexpected and confusing as to why we are not being sought for endorsement by progressive candidates.
I would just compare this to my experience with the labor unions and their endorsement process is we can't understand why everybody doesn't want it. We think we're wonderful. But it's exactly what has been described, that in close races, sometimes they would rather not show their cards and be, seen as moderate or something.
Yeah.
And I think you have to respect that it's a very cagey kind of a game to run for political office.
Yeah.
We're ready for the next slide. So our next meeting will be October 24th, 5:30, and we are going to stick to Zoom for safety. Just at this point, it makes the most sense. And we will be discussing on the coordinating committee our next topic, and we welcome any suggestions for things that you find relevant. And you are also very encouraged to join the discussion on #events on Slack. And who would like to help us with reminder calls or texts for next month's meeting? All right, I see Marissa's hand. All right. Does anybody have any? Oh, thank you. Join us online. This is all of the information. So our Facebook page, we have a Facebook group. The clarification for that is one is public and one is private and for members only. And then we have Slack, we have a website, we're on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you for attending. Good night, everybody.
Hey, Steve.
Oop.
Steve, it's Joe. Did he leave?
No, I'm here. What's up?
Are you going to be around after the meeting for me to give you a call?
Sure.
All right, cool. Talk to you in a minute.
Yeah,
See you all at City Hall
yes,
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Tuesday night.
Make it. Yeah, thanks.